Hello, so my name is Ajit Chaudhary, and this is first video on my lecture series about how to think clearly. So the first point that I'm trying to make here is that whenever you take decisions, you have to think clearly. If you have some illusion or you have some bias, then maybe you can make wrong decisions and that can cost you. So the first point that I'm trying to make here is there is there is always a survivorship bias at play whenever we take decisions. For example, Atharv sees rock stars everywhere, and he sees them on television, on front pages of magazines, uh, on fan sites, everywhere. He always listen rock star music in gym, in malls, in wherever he goes, because they are everywhere. There are lots of them, and they all are successful. So, what do you think? What Atharv did after that? He started his own band, and that band, how big he made it? Can you guess? Because the probability of making it big is little higher than 0%. It is because there are 10,000 times more musicians who has started these kinds of bands, and they are in the graveyards. And why Athar couldn't see it? Because media doesn't care about failures. They do not visit graveyards. You have to visit graveyards, and you have to see that how success is minuscule in order to failure. For other cases, as we see that in share market, Nifty 50 index only define survivors, those who failed, those who couldn't make a business, those who couldn't come in that index. It doesn't represent that. And and Nifty 50 index also doesn't represent our country's economy, but still we see Nifty 50 index to see the market's trend, right? Same way, journalists only follow successful people. They do not follow failures, or they are not even interested in that. You That's not their job also. But if you want to make better decisions, you frequently need to visit in these graveyards. So so let me define what survivorship bias is. When survivorship bias is at play, you underestimate your chances of success. in order to in order to you are When survivorship bias is in at play, you overestimate your chances of success. And in order to eliminate this survivorship bias, you need to frequently visit uh, if we need- you need to frequently visit graveyards of promising projects, ideas, investments, or other things in past that is given to you. In another example, you see so many successful YouTubers. They have 10 million followers or 20 million followers, and so on. But there are thousands of other people who whose videos are whose videos doesn't have these kind of views. And on behind of these YouTubers, there are other 10 thousands of YouTubers who whose videos who hasn't published videos on YouTube yet. There are other 10,000 peoples behind them who are who are thinking of making videos on YouTube. There is one more example in that. Let's say There is one more example in that. Let's say your friend started a startup and you are one of investors in that. Now 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 the first probability is that this startup never launched a product. The second most probability is that this startup goes bankrupt in first 3 years. And the third most likely is that it never grows more than 10 employees. So would you like to put your hard-earned money into that? Maybe you need to think twice. So this is how, but 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 in this example, you will see that survivorship bias is at play. You will you when you deal with money and risk, uh, you you are only make aware about the successful people, successful businesses, successful entrepreneurs, successful YouTubers. You wait for a moment and see all around you that so whenever next time whenever you take decisions, pause for a moment, think think about the influence of survivorship bias on you, and 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 when you recognize that survivorship bias, I know that decisions will become more uh, I know that decisions will become more accurate and more precise. So thank you. This is day one. So thank you. This is the video one, lecture one, on how to think clearly. And this way I am trying to, uh, and this is way I am trying to present all my thoughts in this video.